What question? Like 1B? 2B. Okay, so it says solve the triangle. So this is another one where some of you are going to have to control yourselves, because when you see a triangle that looks like this, the first thing you think of is what? Hero's formula. But the directions didn't say find the area. The directions said solve it, which means find everything you don't know, which basically in this case is angle A, angle B, and angle C. And when we find angles and sides, we do not use Hero's formula. We use the law of sines or the law of cosines, right? Yeah. So I'm looking at this picture. There's no way I'm going to be able to use the law of sines, right? Because I do not have a pair. And I don't have any angles, so I'm going to have to use the law of cosines to find an angle. All right? So just for fun this time, let's find the biggest angle first. You got to pick one. Doesn't matter. Let's just pick one. Let's find the biggest one first. Okay? What would be the biggest angle in that picture? Would everybody agree B is going to be the biggest angle in the picture?
Yeah. So at the end it'd be
cosine. So at the end it's going to be cosine B.
And then little b squared in the front.
And no, it's going to be 14 squared, because we know what little b is. Yeah. Side B is 14. And then in the middle is going to be 10 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 10 times 12 times cosine B.
I did one of these one time, and that's why I was asking about it earlier, and I just kept getting the wrong answer.
So this is not one that I can just type in, because my variable is not, it doesn't say C equals, right? So I have to solve for that. I have to figure out what that is. So I would suggest that you do all of the arithmetic. So 14 squared, and 100 squared, and 12 squared, and then 2 times 10 times 12, which is 240, cosine B. So I just have done all my squaring and my multiplying, just my basic arithmetic, right? Mm-hmm. Now remember, this is what you're trying to get by itself. So, can I add these two together and then subtract them over there to that side? That's what I'm going to need to do. So when I add them together, I'm going to get 244. Now, what I cannot do is combine these two numbers. Kids, this is like having an equation that says 10 equals 8 minus 4x. In that equation, wouldn't you subtract the 8? You wouldn't combine these, right? They're not like terms. These are not like terms. This has a cosine. So you're going to move the 244 to the other side. So when I subtract 244 on both sides, I'm going to get, what over there? Negative 48 equal to negative 240 cosine B.
This is right.
And then what? Divide. I'm solving for cosine B. That's my variable, so I'm going to divide. Now, the negatives cancel, so I'm not even going to write them down. I have a negative over a negative. How do I type that into my calculator? Second cosine. Absolutely. Anytime it says cosine B equals, you have the second cosine, 48 divided by 240, and 78.46.
I got an error. Like, that's what was happening to me.
second cosine 48 divided by 240.
Yeah.
Second cosine 48 divided by 240.
Yeah, I got there then.
That won't even matter.
Yeah, that's what was happening to me.
Type second cosine 48 divided by 240.
There.
I'm not even looking at you really bad.
Cause I was so confused. I was like, this is how we did it in class. Why am I getting error?
Yeah, Nina?
Yeah. I'm really
Okay.
relating right now.
This is what happens when you don't type in exactly what I said. Now, I don't want you to type one single thing that I don't say. Second cosine 48 divided by 240.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
Wait, what'd
You are second cosigning that entire fraction.
Oh.
You're second cosigning the entire fraction. You're not second cosigning 48, which is what you were trying to do, and
I
that
think
won't
that's what I
work.
did.
Okay?
Yeah, Nina?
Now,
Yes. Hidden.
once you figured out that that angle is 78,
You have more to do.
well, yes, there's still more to go, but now what? Now you can do the law of sines. Now, could you do the law, like if you like doing this, could you do this again? Could you do this again using a different angle? Could you set up something like this for angle A? Yeah. If you like doing this, you absolutely can do that. But you can also now use the law of sines because you have a pair. If you like that better. Right? Okay. So what are we doing? Law of sines or law of cosines?
Sine 78.46.
Doing the law of sines.
Yeah. Over.
Alright, so
16.
sine 78.46 over 14,
Sine F over 10.
C over 10,
Oh, yeah.
that'll work. So this will be another second, this one will be second sine now, because we're doing the law of sines. So second sine, 10 sine 78.46 divided by 14. Since you're coming back after school anyway, you can just pick it up then.
It was on me, look, you can
It
actually
doesn't,
look. right
doesn't
at
matter.
this.
It
That's not
shouldn't
my
even
fault.
be out. It shouldn't even be out.
I didn't look at it.
Doesn't matter. You pick it up after school. I'll keep it safe, I promise. I won't look at it, touch it. Alright, so I got 44.41.
Wait, why do you have 14?
Oh shoot, I
I
don't
had
know.
16 instead. Because on our, I think you just wrote it down wrong originally. It's 10 and then 16 at the
It doesn't
bottom.
matter. I'm just doing it. I already did that problem. I wanted to change it anyhow.
just switched one on here to 14.
Oh, okay.
We already did that problem, so it doesn't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. We did practice test one.
Yeah.
So this is the problem we're doing, and, so I got 44.41, and then I will subtract from 180, and that will take care of that, so 57.13. All right, who else has a question about something we need to practice again more of? Let's simplify this. What about cosine squared minus 36 over 6 plus cosine? What are we going to do to simplify this?
Difference is squared.
Difference of squares on the top, so how will that factor?
Cosine minus 6. Cosine plus 6.
Perfect.
And then you can cancel cosine plus 6. 6 and 6
Cosine
plus
minus 6.
cosine.
And we have cosine minus 6, that's exactly right. All right, what about, let's do one more of those. What about this? How about cosine plus tangent
Can you do something cubed in there?
sine?
Some cubed?
Yeah, like with the 3.
Well, let's just try this one. All right, so here we go. What are we gonna do to simplify this one?
Cosine over 1.
So change them all into fractions. This is different than this. There's no, this one we could factor, this doesn't factor, so we'll change them all into fractions and hopefully something will cancel. Darn it. Nothing cancels. Now, some of you will try to cancel here, but we can't because that's a plus. If that had been a times, if that were a multiply, absolutely. But it's not. So I've got cosine over 1 plus, and these don't cancel because they're both on top. I have a multiply, but they're both on top. So that's going to be sine squared over cosine.
Common denominator.
So now we're going to get a common denominator.
Goes.
Because we have two fractions, we want to get a common denominator, which will be cosine. This one already has it, so that's just going to be sine squared. This one needs a cosine.
Cosine squared?
Just 1 over cosine.
So now we have cosine squared, which is 1 over cosine, which is secant. 1 over cosine is secant. Remember, the cos never go together. So cosine goes with secant, cosecant goes with sine. Right? Okay. All right, so that's what we need to know when we come in tomorrow to take our
Test.
test.
I've got flew by.